Hey guys, this is Mark with Hawkeye Ordnance. We're doing an everyday carry video, and I know the world does not need another everyday carry video, but I wanted to bring one that had the perspective of just kind of a regular guy who wears a suit 4 or 5 days a week and shoots competitively on the weekends, has kids and a life and all the normal things. And I guess I want to start with a couple of ground rules. Number one is I am not advocating any piece of gear on this table. This is just what works for me and what gets me through my day feeling safe and comfortable and with the level of convenience that I've come to enjoy. So that's number one. Number two is I'm not arguing about calibers, okay? I think probably .380 is a minimum caliber, but you know what? If you can make it work with a .22, then that's what you got, that's what you should use. If you're more comfortable carrying a .357 SIG or a .45 or some other crazy 50 cal hand cannon, carry it. I mean, that's it. I mean, if that makes you comfortable and you can manage that in your everyday life, you're a bigger man than I. So we're just going to go over some things that I use in my everyday life. This is not some crazy zombie apocalypse without rule of law. This is me living in the city, going to work, picking up my kids, living life like a normal person. If things go that crazy, there are all kinds of better options than what I'm about to show you right now. But you know what? I think that this would keep you pretty safe and pretty comfortable even in a bad set of circumstances. So the first piece of gear we're going to talk about, and I'm going to go through these in order of what's most used to what's least used. And number one for me is my iPhone 5. And yep, there's a million other great phones out on the market. This is the one I've got. It is my communications, my fun, my maps, my lightweight flashlight if I need it, photography, kids stuff, life stuff, work stuff. It's kind of everything rolled into one, and hell, it even tells the time. So you know, if I wasn't going to carry anything else out with me in life, I'm probably going with this. So the iPhone 5. Next thing that's pretty important to me in my everyday carry is my my Suunto Watch, and you know, yep, it tells the time, and when I'm working out, it keeps track of numbers for me and what I'm doing in rest times and all that good stuff. But it also has some other features like barometric pressure for weather and a compass if I ever needed it. But basically, it's tough as nails. I've had this for a little over a year now, including shooting like some 30 matches with it, and it still looks basically brand new with the exception of little speckles of white paint from repainting targets. But my Suunto Watch. Alright, what we got next? Next up is probably my Spyderco Knife. And I do have another knife, which you'll see a little later, that I carry with me when I'm wearing a suit. But I've had this knife for a couple of years now, and she Nuttin' Fancy is the one that got me to buy it. But not because I know him, but because I was watching his videos. But this knife is around 95 bucks. This is the Endura. And I've put this thing through hell. It's been every tool imaginable, as well as just, you know, good for opening boxes, and I feel safe when I've got this. It's easy for me to manipulate and use, and it isn't so expensive that I worry about chipping it or breaking it or whatever. If this knife goes down at this point, it has served me well, and it was money well spent. So, Spyderco Knife. Alright, what's next? Okay. There are more elaborate first aid kits out there. This has started out its life as just a basic over-the-counter field kit that I have altered a little bit, but this is not for you know, a major road accident or anything like that. This is what I carry to work with me in my briefcase, or when I go out on the weekends for longer periods I might take a backpack with me and I throw this in there. It's basic pain relief, basic band-aids, some rubber gloves, and a couple of heavier duty you know, bandages for serious bleeding. But basically this is just kind of enough to get you through a regular day at work. You cut your finger, you know, you get a paper cut, you get a headache, you bust a tooth, whatever. I can deal with that here. And I use this more than I care to admit. So there's that. So next up would probably be my trusty TAC Scorpion Streamlight. Beep. My brother gave me this flashlight about 10 years ago. My brother's a cop. He does not like his name being used on TV or the department he works for, so I just refer to him as Officer Broham. And he gave me this amazing light 10 years ago, and I have used this every Halloween since. It sits in my nightstand at home when I'm not out at night. I don't carry this every day in my pocket. I carry this when I know I'm going to be somewhere where I feel like I could really use an extra little bit of light with me. Otherwise, I use the iPhone. I know that is like classic mistake, but the little iPhone light on here does everything I need it to do most of the time. and I'm freaking anal retentive about charging my phone. But this is an excellent light. It allows for firearm manipulation and all that stuff. It's a very positive grip. It's been really good for me. I am looking for something a little skinnier that I might try to incorporate, or at least give it another go for everyday carry. But this is my light. All right, and now the firepower. So, Glock 26, 9mm. Okay, so why the Glock 26? For those of you who've watched my shooting videos, you know that I am kind of goofy about having everything work together if I can. I shoot a Glock 17 in competition, and so I've got a whole ton of magazines and a whole ton of 9mm around, and I've found this gun to be reliable, very trustworthy, and it puts bullets where I aim it, which is very, very, very important to me, clearly, in a firearm. But a little thicker than I'd like it to be, but it allows me to carry 11 rounds with the +1, which is a pretty effective package if you need it. I've only done a couple of minor changes to this gun. I have put on some aftermarket XS very quick sights that are tritium. It's empty, by the way. And I lightened up the trigger ever so slightly. There was no actually lightening done. I just polished it up so it's just a little smoother pull. I added the Pierce grips to the regular magazines, the Pierce extensions, and I found myself, I don't have huge hands, struggling a little bit with actuating the magazine release, so I put an oversized aluminum mag release on there from Zev. And that's all that's been done to this gun, and it runs amazing. I've shot a lot of rounds to this gun, and I'm very comfortable with it. Now, a lot of guys out there are changing guns depending on what they're wearing and the time of year and all that kind of stuff, and if they've got the time and energy to stay proficient with all those guns, better men than I, but I do not. And so I stick with this all the time. And there's a couple things I really like about this gun. One is I can keep a Glock 17 magazine in my bag or in my truck or extra one by my nightstand or whatever it is, and by just dropping in that magazine, I've effectively created a full-size grip for myself. And that changes everything with this gun. I'm good with it without it, but with it, it's incredibly accurate. It's probably as good as my 17 or any 19 I've ever owned. And so for me, that is a game changer for this gun and makes it even more useful than it is by itself. And so, how do I carry the thing? So let me lock it up the way I normally carry it. And there's a couple of ways I do things, and I'm going to roll in a video here in a second of a typical Monday morning in a suit and how I deal with all this stuff and the slight changes I make when I'm not in my kind of everyday wear. But my first choice is an over-the-waistband holster, and this is not a G-Code or a Bravo or any of those cool holsters out there. This is a $25 Fobus paddle holster. Why the hell would I use this? Well, I'll be honest with you, it's cheap, it's tough, and it allows me to get in and out of my gun. And the fact is that I live in a world here in Minnesota where there are plenty of places I like to go that I can't carry, and yeah, I go there. I'll go somewhere else if I can to avoid going to a non-carry place, but that's just not always practical. I've got kids, Chuck E. Cheese is not cool with my Glock. My kids are cool with Chuck E. Cheese, so we go. So this gives me an opportunity to get in and out of this whenever I want. And if I've got a cover garment, like in this fall, winter, early spring, I'm going to probably be over the waistband all day long. It's the most comfortable for me. The second option would be if I need deeper concealment or if I need to wear lighter clothes or whatever the deal is my first choice is probably appendix. And I have screwed around with the mix and all the little clip covers and all that stuff, and frankly, I've been carrying this gun long enough, I trust it. It's not going off in my pocket. So this is how I run it, just straight in the belt, a decent belt, and it doesn't need to be one of these 511s or any stiff belt. My regular belts work just fine as long as my pants aren't too loose. So that works great. Occasionally, I will switch it to this side for whatever reason. Maybe I'm going to be in and out of the car a lot, and I don't like having the thing sticking in my crotch. I'll throw it back at the 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock position and run it like that. And I'm just as comfortable with it either way, and I've practiced with drawing it either way. But there's nothing faster than this, really, at the end of the day. The one thing I also like about the paddle, I was going to say real quickly, is that if I go to a movie theater and I've got a big heavy jacket on and it's covering my paddle holster and I want to get rid of my jacket because it's warm in the theater or whatever, I'll just go to the bathroom real quick, I'll pull it out of the paddle holster, I'll drop it in the appendix position, take off my jacket, throw this in there, and with a t-shirt I go sit down and relax in the movie theater. It's just that simple. That's why I really like this. I don't feel like I'm not tied to my holsters throughout the day. So those are the basics of my kind of casual everyday carry. Now check out what Monday morning looks like for me. Hey guys, it's Mark. It's Monday morning, and this is part of the sort of philosophy of everyday carry video we're working on. And so it's Monday and I'm going to work, and there's a few things that change for me. The Spyderco goes away, and I bring my little Lavoie pig sticker with me, which is not the most deadly, but fits nicely in my suit. And we switched from a backpack to my briefcase. Got my little electronics bag. And let's see, I put it in here. Okay, so we dropped the Suunto Watch for something a little dressier for work. Scorpion is no longer on my person. It is now in my bag with my small work med kit. And the Glock 26 doesn't change, but I do switch to this now. I do have a company that doesn't allow for carry at work, so this gives me a basic holster, but it gives me the ability to get in and out of it really easy, which is nice for me. And in my bag is a Glock 17 mag fully loaded, which gives me another 17 rounds. So all in, I've got 28 rounds of me with the +1 in the gun. So we're pretty comfortable. iPhone, keys, my smoker. Oh, can't forget my little iPad, and headphones. It's off to work. Alright, so that's my everyday carry. There's no rocket science to this. This is stuff that I know works for me, and if you were gonna like strip this down to what I have every single day, it's gonna look something like this. Phone, knife, watch, pistol. And with this grouping of things, I feel pretty comfortable wherever I go. Again, this is not about who's got the biggest gun. It's not about with and without rule of law. It's not about any of those sorts of things. This is me working my way through my regular life. I hope this helps, guys. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have. I'd love to hear your comments. I'm always looking for better gear, and if there's something I've got here that can be replaced with something better, I'm all in. I'd love to hear your comments. If you've got a chance, go over and like us on our Facebook page, Hawkeye Ordnance. Check out the website, hawkeyeordnance.com. I will tell you that's very geared towards 3-gun competition shooting. And subscribe to us here on this channel. We'd love to hear more from you. We're going to try to put some more things out that are not just straight up 3-gun competitions and getting started videos. I do hope you're well. Stay safe out there, guys, and God bless.